Good evening everyone and welcome to the 2020 ASVO Awards for Excellence. My name's Brooke Howell, President of the ASVO, and I'm here tonight with my co-host and fellow director Paul Grabin.
Thank you, Brooke. Good evening and thank you everyone for tuning in.
I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that we are hosting this event from the lands of the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains. I also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you are all listening from today and the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people tuning into this event. I pay my respects to elders, past, present and emerging, and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to the lands and waters of Australia.
We recognise that 2020 has been a particularly challenging year for many, and while we would have loved to be sharing the good company of our peers and the opportunity to network tonight, we hope that you enjoy the evening from the comfort of your home. Contrary to our usual request, can everyone please ensure that their mobile phones are on? Our finalists are waiting for a call, and if you wish to interact on social media throughout the evening, make sure you use the hashtag ASVO to ensure the whole industry connects.
As a professional society, tonight is about honouring and recognising our peers in an industry celebration. The Awards for Excellence were established in 2012 by past President and Viticulturist of the Year finalist Mark Christick as a prestigious event to celebrate the talent, success and achievement of our members. This event seeks to promote industry excellence, foster leadership and encourage innovation and sustainability in the Australian wine industry, and has grown to become one of the most important ASVO events on the calendar. This year is an extra special year as the ASVO celebrates its 40th anniversary. In 1980, a group of passionate industry experts came together to discuss the need for a professional society, one that would advance the technical knowledge of the Australian wine industry. It was through the drive and dedication of these early industry leaders that led to the formation of the ASVO, with the first meeting held in October 1980. The ASVO was established as a non-political membership organisation to serve the interests of practising winemakers, viticulturists and wine researchers by encouraging the exchange of technical information. These core objectives still hold true today. I would like to acknowledge the founding board members whose vision for the Australian wine industry still stands strong and meant that the ASVO could achieve such a 40-year milestone. These people were Mark Babich, Brian Crozer, Andrew Hewitt, Waldy Forrest, Bill Hardy, Terry Lee, Doug McWilliam, Philip Shaw and Chris Weeks.
The wine industry has experienced a lot of change over the last 40 years, and the ASVO has evolved in response, continuously working harder to deliver relevant services and benefits to its members. One major evolution has been in how we deliver events. In the early years, ASVO held a series of small face-to-face seminars duplicated in multiple regions. 3 years ago, the ASVO was the first in the Australian wine industry to live stream its events from a central location out to regional nodes. This has allowed us to reach as many members as possible while also maintaining the ability to gather together with our colleagues and share the experience. Tonight we've taken a giant leap into the 100% virtual awards event for the very first time. The order of this evening will be how the ASVO is inspiring excellence through scholarships and prizes. We'll celebrate research excellence by presenting research paper awards. We'll recognise professional excellence in winemaker and viticulturist of the year. And finally, we'll honour our newly inducted fellows to the Society for their outstanding excellence and contribution.
ASVO values its connections with a number of partner organisations who share ASVO's vision and provide material or financial support.
The ASVO would like to thank Wine Australia, Australian Grape and Wine, Wiley and our media partner Wine Titles Media for their ongoing support and contribution.
Wine Australia has been part of the Awards for Excellence since they began, supporting research, development and extension programs across Australia and sponsoring the Winemaker and Viticulturist of the Year Awards. And we now cross to Andreas Clark, CEO of Wine Australia.
Well, thanks for that lovely introduction, Brooke. As always, it's a pleasure to be here. Would love to be here with you all in person, but as always, we're doing things virtually at the moment. It's such a highlight of the calendar to celebrate what ASVO brings to the table, such a critical part of the innovation and adoption story here in Australia. And we're always really pleased to be part of that conversation. I'm exceptionally pleased that we're talking about some Wine Australia funded research that's going to be recognised this evening. I hope everyone has a fantastic night and I look forward to catching up with you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Andreas. I'd like to also thank our platinum sponsors for getting behind this event, AWRI Commercial Services and Elders. I'd like to introduce Eric Wilkes from AWRI Commercial Services.
AWRI Commercial Services is the commercial arm of the AWRI and offers advanced analytical and consulting services to grape and wine producers and partner organisations. A wide range of analytical services are provided by our NATA accredited laboratories, which perform well in excess of 100,000 analyses per year. AWRI Commercial Services has been Australia's premier wine and grape testing facility since it began offering services to the wine industry in 1984. Testing available covers the entire gamut of vineyard, winery, packaging requirements, including production testing, export certificates, trace analysis of agrochemicals and taints, and advanced PCR-based grapevine virus testing. AWRI Commercial Services also has a team of experienced process engineers and scientists who are able to build on the fundamental research conducted at the AWRI to develop customised commercial solutions for the grape and wine industry. These include process optimisation, proof of performance trials, environmental accounting and microbiological audits. The AWRI Commercial Services team is proud to be a sponsor of the ASVO Awards of Excellence.
Now let's hear from Elders.
180 years on, we know Australian agriculture is more than a business. It's a way of life, one we're fortunate to be a part of, through the communities we proudly call home, supporting and innovating. At your gate, by your side, a constant in a world of change. Elders, always in your corner.
We're also grateful for the support of our gold sponsors this evening, who are committed to building a stronger wine community.
We would also like to acknowledge our invited guests who are tuning in tonight, the CEOs and board members of Australian Grape and Wine, Wine Industry Suppliers Association, Wine Communicators of Australia, Australian Wine Research Institute, our partner in the Australian Wine Industry Technical Conference, and of course our ASVO members. Thanks to you for your ongoing support.
I would like to recognise the hard work and dedication that is put in by our Board of Directors, and I thank you all for your efforts. These people are Tony Robinson, the Vice President, Christy Bartrop, Treasurer, Evelyn Batowski, Secretary and Public Officer, Dr Marty Longbottom, Andy Clark, Richard Fennessy, Mike Hayes, and my co-host, Associate Professor Paul Grabed. And to our new directors who are joining the board, Alana Seabrook and Nadia Wallington.
One of the objectives of the ASVO is to promote education in viticulture and enology. To support this, the board offers a number of scholarships and prizes to its members, with a focus on promoting the future potential within the Australian grape and wine community.
One area of interest is the ongoing development of advanced sensory skills. Each year, the ASVO selects one of its members to participate in the Advanced Wine Assessment course delivered by the Australian Wine Research Institute. These sensory skills may be used by ASVO members in their current employment or for the purpose of becoming a future wine show judge. Ultimately, by furthering their sensory education, the recipient will be able to contribute to the wider wine industry.
A panel of judges with extensive expertise in the area of wine show judging and wine sensory assessment selected the winner. Thank you to our judging panel who undertook the rigorous process to choose the winner. This year's recipient of the ASVO's Advanced Wine Assessment Course Scholarship is Marcel Custos.
Marcel commenced his career in the wine industry through his family vineyard. Eventually, his passion for flavour pairings and terroir led him to complete a PhD in wine science at the University of Adelaide. His research on memorable wine experiences and regional typicality gained international industry support and funding from Wine Australia. His innovative, science-driven wine pairings and consumer experience-focused approach earned him the head sommelier position at Penfolds McGill Estate. Marcel is also part of the Sommeliers Australia Committee, and he remains actively involved in wine education and research. Congratulations, Marcel.
I feel honoured and humbled to receive the prestigious ASVO scholarship for the AUAC. Attending the AUAC will allow me to continue my development in the Australian wine industry. and it will also help me to refine my palate to better understand the impact of winemaking and viticulture on the final product, which in turn will help me to promote the excellence of Australian wine as a sommelier, winemaker, and a wine scientist. 2020 had its ups and downs, but I feel grateful and beyond thankful to receive this prestigious scholarship and all the opportunities it may bring. Thank you very much.
And now we move to the award winners. The first of the 3 awards to be announced tonight are for excellence in viticulture and enology research. Each winner will take home one of these beautiful perpetual trophies. The trophies were designed by past director Tony Profit and handcrafted in Margaret River. They are accompanied by an honour board with the names of the previous award winners. These now represent a growing list of outstanding individuals who have contributed to the pursuit of excellence in the Australian wine industry.
For the past 8 years, the ASVO has recognised research papers published in the Australian Journal of Grape and Wine Research, which are judged by a committee of ASVO members to be the most likely to have a significant impact on the Australian wine industry. We say a special thank you to the committees who read through over 50 papers twice and selected the winners.
It's fitting tonight on our 40th anniversary to remember Peter May. Dr. Peter May was the founding editor of the Australian Journal of Grape and Wine Research, and his diligence set this journal on very firm foundations. Perhaps his greatest legacy is the help he offered to other researchers. Many of today's researchers can look back and say things like, "Peter taught me everything I know about viticulture," or "Peter taught me how to be a rigorous researcher." His energy was inspiring and infectious. The Dr. Peter May Award is presented to the authors of the most highly cited Australian Journal of Grape and Wine Research paper published in the previous 5 years.
I'm delighted to announce the recipient of the 2020 Dr. Peter May Award goes to Dr. Marcos Bernarda and colleagues for his paper Temperature and Water Effects on Grapes and Wines. And now let's hear from Marcos.
Thanks. Well, I would like to thank the SVO for this award. It's very rewarding to have been recognized for the scientific community that has found value in this work we have done. But science is a collective endeavor. This paper is the collective effort of my colleagues from Uni of Adelaide, Dave Jeffrey, and colleagues from Sardi, Martin Moran, Paul Petrie, and Victor Sadras. I would like to thank in particular to Victor Sadras, that was my research PhD supervisor at the time we wrote this article. Victor had the insight to put a project together which anticipates some of the consequences that warming and drought may bring to the wine industry. Finally, I would like to thank Wine Australia that funded this project and also has given us continuity funding current research projects in the same space. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Marcos and colleagues. The next awards continue to celebrate excellence in viticulture and enology research. Winemakers and viticulturists judge these awards, selecting from research papers that have been published in the Australian Journal of Grape and Wine Research in the previous 12 months. The judges are asked to choose a paper that they consider has the greatest potential for application of this research and is most likely to have a significant impact on the Australian wine industry.
I'm delighted to announce the recipient of the 2020 Viticulture Paper of the Year Award goes to Dr. Rob Walker and co-workers for their paper Effective Rootstock on Yield, Grape Composition and Wine Sensory Attributes of Shiraz grown in a moderately saline environment. And now let's hear from Rob.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, and I'd just like to first of all acknowledge the contributions of the co-authors to this work, and they are Deirdre Blackmore and Peter Klingleffer from CSIRO, and Lee Francis, Wes Pearson and Helen Holt from the AWRI. It was a great collaborative team effort. Also want to just say thank you to a number of other people who helped us out along the way. and they are our industry colleagues at Treasury Wine Estates at Padthaway, the winemakers who made the wine for us at Hickenbotham Winery, Wake Campus, the many people who lined up for tasting on the tasting panels, and those who helped us out at Harvest. Thanks also to Wine Australia who funded the project, and a special thanks to ASVO for making this award possible. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Rob and colleagues. The next award tonight is the Enology Paper of the Year. I am delighted to announce the recipient of the 2020 Enology Paper of the Year goes to Vanessa Stockdale and colleagues for their paper, Carrageenans as Heat Stabilisers of White Wine. And now let's hear from Vanessa.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Evelyn. I am extremely honoured to receive this award. I'd like to thank all of the researchers that participated in the research, and also a lot of wine industry people had a lot of input into this research of developing carrageenans as an alternative to bentonite. My interest in this project is sustainability. Carrageenans are from seaweed, whereas bentonite is mined, and it's topical now. A lot of even large wineries these days are having vegan vintages. So thank you to Wine Australia for funding this research, and thank you to the Yellow Journal for publishing this research. It's an extreme honour to be published in such an esteemed journal.
Congratulations, Vanessa and colleagues. As part of our 40-year celebrations, we commissioned an interview with founding ASVO members and fellows Terry Lee and Brian Crozer. Let's now hear from them on some of the highlights in the formative years of the Society.
Any young person coming into the Australian wine community as a technologist, I think, has to be involved in continuing education. That's a change that has occurred, and I'd be recommending them to do all the short courses they could possibly do. But to access the technical forum of the ASVO is fundamental. You cannot be a complete viticulturalist, enologist, without being part of ASVO, in my belief.
Yeah, in my experience moving around the wine industry of the world, the ASVO, through its members, has had enormous influence in winemaking and grape growing globally. I mean, there's almost no country you can go to today where there's not a considerable Australian influence by members of ASVO running wineries, running vineyards and being involved. Just enormous influence, way greater than the size of our industry here. And I think a lot of credit to that has to be the confidence that these people feel from being involved in an organisation like ASVO and learning from each other over the years.
Now we move to celebrating excellence in practice with the ASVO Viticulturalist and Winemaker of the Year. The ASVO Awards for Excellence recognises the achievements of some of the most dedicated and professional individuals in the Australian wine industry. We're very fortunate to have many skilled and engaged people as members of ASVO who significantly contribute to the wine community and inspire those around them to seek out and adopt innovative practices. The finalists of both the Viticulturalist of the Year and Winemaker of the Year are nominated by ASVO-appointed selection committees. The committees consist of individuals who are themselves distinguished in the fields of viticulture and winemaking and who demonstrate exceptional leadership ability and vision. We thank the judging panels for their time taken in the deliberation of the awards.
The finalists of the ASVO Viticulturalist and Winemaker of the Year award demonstrate the following attributes. They contribute in a positive way to the Australian wine industry. We look for evidence that they are focused on improving from standard viticulture and winemaking practices through adoption of innovative practices, technologies or standards. And in addition, they have integrated the outcome of their work into the culture of those around them. And they have shared their work with the broader wine industry. There are 3 finalists for this year's Winemaker of the Year award.
A highly experienced and respected winemaker and consultant, Samantha Connew launched her Tasmanian solo project Stargazer in 2013. Prior to establishing this and her consulting company Compass Wine Consulting, She was working in applied research development and extension for the Australian Wine Research Institute as manager of the Hunter Valley node. Samantha was the winemaker manager of boutique Hunter Valley winery, Tower Estate, after working in McLaren Vale for 10 years as the senior winemaker at Wira Wira Vineyards. Amongst her many achievements, in 2007 she was awarded International Red Winemaker of the Year at the prestigious International Wine Challenge in London, and in 2008 she was a South Australian finalist in the Telstra Business Women's Awards. Samantha has served on the boards of several regional associations and was a board member of the ASVO and a founding member for the Australian Women in Wine Awards. She is currently a director on the Wine Tasmania board. Sam has sought to integrate innovative practices through exploration of winemaking style and varietal diversity with ongoing work involving 100% natural ferments across all varieties, lees work, skin contact, residual sugar and different fermentation and storage vessels. Sam has challenged the perception of Australian Riesling through her role as a tutor in the Len Evans tutorial, where she has demonstrated the broad diversity of styles available. Peter Lesky is winemaker and director at Reveneer Winemaking in the Adelaide Hills, where he and a small team make a range of wines for diverse clients using an equally diverse list of grape varieties into even more diverse styles. He greatly enjoys the opportunities that this challenge offers for collaboration with other industry members, which he cites as one of the genuine strengths of our community. Throughout Peter's career, he has sought to increase and share collective knowledge and expertise through roles at the AWRI and SAWIA, and most recently by assisting members of the Hills region with the making, sensory assessment and interpretation of smoke impact on hundreds of small lot wines from affected vineyards. This effort has also involved working with practitioners and researchers to implement and manage related longer-term projects, which he hopes will add much to the future understanding of the impact of fires in viticultural regions. Frank Vanderloo is the winemaker and general manager, part owner of Mount Majura Vineyard in the Canberra district, where he has overseen development for more than 20 years. Coming from a background in plant science research, his winemaking starts with variety selection and viticulture, and is focused on making wine that best expresses the character of the vineyard. This has involved many trials ranging from alternative varieties and ecological vineyard approaches to fermentation techniques and unusual wine styles. He is keenly aware of the limits of a small winemaker operating alone and has tried to maximise sharing of information in the local industry and being involved in research and extension more broadly. Frank's innovative approach to his work does not just stop at winemaking. He is also actively involved in seeking alternative varieties suited to a changing climate and other sustainability initiatives. He has been actively involved in sharing information with the broader wine community and in supporting industry organisations including ASVO.
I'm delighted to announce that the 2020 recipient of the Winemaker of the Year award, sponsored by Wine Australia, is Peter Lesky. Congratulations, Peter, and now let's hear from the winner.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's fantastic. Well, what do you say? I think thank you is appropriate. The question is to how many people. This is a great honour. I'm surprised, delighted, excited. Did I mention surprised? To receive this. Very, very grateful. The truth is that while we, as people, sort of want somebody to get the award for crossing the line first or hitting the wall first if they're swimming, life's a team event, so I'll reflect a bit more on that shortly, but this is really not about me as an individual, but hopefully tonight is a celebration of the broader wine industry. So, first people I want to acknowledge are my co-nominees. Sam and Frank have been mates of mine for a long time, and my one regret about this being done down a camera rather than in a hall is that we can't share a wine and some food together. So, sorry we don't get to catch up, guys, but congratulations on your nominations. Richly deserved, and I guess better luck next year would be the recipe that I seem to have followed. Also the viticulture nominees as well, of course. Yeah, this is, I don't really like the term wine industry, that's what we're in, of course, but we'll call it the wine game. Viticulture and knowledge go hand in hand, and so congratulations also to the other nominees, and of course the people nominated for Paper of the Year and other awards tonight, so thank you. Thank you to the nominations committee for your infinite wisdom, of course. I first turned up at Roseworthy having just turned 17 over 30 years ago, so I guess I'm an overnight sensation, thanks to your recognition. Thank you very much. And to the ASVO committee, it's a volunteer organisation. Having served on the committee all those moons ago, I know there's lots of work to be done, so to the ASVO wider executive, thank you for making this happen. And of course to the supporters of tonight's awards, all those partners of the event, I'm very grateful that you helped make it happen. As I said, this is not an individual award from my perspective. Very little in life is an individual thing, it's a team game. And I've been lucky enough to have mentors along the way, people who've put up with me in all sorts of ways, been patient, they've been tolerant, they've been understanding. You generally know who you are. A couple are no longer with us, which is a sad story, but that's the way it works. So for those people who taught me things, thank you very much. People who gave me the opportunity to learn things. So that includes Terry Lee specifically, Jeff Grossett, Don Lewis, Ed Twaddell, and a variety of other people who I guess, taught me things, and hopefully I've repaid their faith along the way. I also need to mention, as I said, it's a team game. All the people, I don't think I've done anything much on my own in my career. It's very much a team game. So, I think I use the words tolerance and patience and understanding. That goes to the people who still work with me on a daily basis. So thank you very much. This award is for all of us. When I was a kid, Mum and Dad, my father in particular, if we played tennis on a Saturday morning, you'd come back and say, "No, how'd you go?" And I lost my singles, was the standard reply. The other, if you made a mistake, either my sister or I, and said we won, or I won, or I lost my doubles, we'd automatically get corrected. It was, "No, you were the only one on the court, were you?" So for those of you who've worked with me over the years, hopefully the fact that my father corrected me and made sure that we always said we instead of I has been reflected in the way we work together. Yes, as I said, all of those people who have taught me things, who've given me opportunities, thank you very much. Finally, to my ever-suffering wife and children, vintage widow Kath and vintage orphans George and Hannah, for late nights and time at my desk or time away. Thank you very much for your support. And enjoy the celebration. Thank you very much, everybody.
Congratulations, Peter. Well done. Next, we will present the Viticulturist of the Year Award, and the finalists are...
Ben is the Viticulture Manager, Treasury Wine Estates. His role includes the management of the technical viticulture team for Australia and New Zealand. It also includes overseeing the vineyard operations in Tasmania, Western Australia and New Zealand. Ben was born and raised in the Adelaide Hills of South Australia, where he commenced his involvement in the wine industry in 1993. With an interest in wine and agriculture, Ben went on to complete a Bachelor of Agricultural Sciences in Viticultural Science at the University of Adelaide. He has since worked in several roles throughout Australia, New Zealand and Bordeaux, which include technical and management roles in McLaren Vale and Langhorne Creek, managing the Penfolds vineyards at Robe and managing the Wynns Coonawarra Estate vineyards. Ben's innovative work at TWE has involved organising a phylloxera outbreak simulation in collaboration with Vine Health Australia to raise the company's biosecurity awareness. Ben is also involved in trial work with CSIRO on disease-resistant varieties. Dr. Mark Christic, Managing Director of the Australian Wine Research Institute. Mark commenced his career in viticulture, research and development at CSIRO Merbeen, where he conducted research on grapevine physiology, crop development and yield estimation. Since that time, he has worked in key viticultural roles at the Victorian Government's Department of Primary Industries, the Grape and Wine Research and Development Corporation, now Wine Australia, and the Australian Wine Research Institute, leading a range of research and development activities. Mark currently chairs the Australian Wine Industry Technical Conference, is a past president of the Australian Society of Viticulture and Enology, and graduate of the Winemakers Federation of Australia Wine Industry Future Leaders Program in 2010. He has played a key role in smoke taint research development and extension and emergency response since 2006, and recently co-authored a book entitled Healthy Soils for Healthy Vines through CSIRO Publishing with Professor Bob White. Suzanne McLaughlin joined Vine Health Australia in July 2016 as Technical Manager. In her current role, she is responsible for the provision of technical specialist biosecurity advice to industry and the South Australian Government. Suzanne brings 20 years of industry experience to Vine Health Australia, gained across a range of technical viticulture and grower relations roles for commercial wine growing operations. Suzanne holds a Bachelor of Agricultural Science with honours from the University of Melbourne and a Master of Agricultural Science by Research from the University of Adelaide. Suzanne's involvement in innovative practices revolve around modernisation of South Australia's phylloxera outbreak plan, instigation of Project Boundary Rider to evaluate the potential use of geofencing for safeguarding vineyards against pests and increasing industry members' awareness of phylloxera threat.
I'm delighted to announce the 2020 recipient of the Viticulturalist of the Year award, sponsored by Wine Australia, is Dr. Mark Christick. Congratulations, Mark, and let's hear from our winner.
Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you. First of all, just want to thank all the other finalists, Suzanne and Ben, very worthy within themselves to be winners of this award. And just really like to thank, I guess, my family for all their support and love for over many years, and all those people that have played a really important part in my sort of future, in crafting my future. And probably in particular, my early start at CSIRO that really got me into viticulture and the love of viticulture, and really looking not only at wine grapes, but also across the dry grapes and also the table grape field. And all the others that I've sort of had the opportunity to spend time with and certainly influenced and shaped my career over many, many years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, and very well deserved. The final announcement this evening is one which carries enormous gravitas. Each year, the ASVO board has the opportunity to invite a fellow from amongst its membership. This is not an award, but an invitation to join an eminent and honoured group of ASVO members. The ASVO Fellows are recognised primarily for two things: their outstanding and meritorious contribution to the advancement of the Australian wine industry through a major industry, scientific, educational or society role, and their commitment and contribution to promote the endeavours of the ASVO. In selecting fellows, the ASVO board employ the wisdom of its existing fellows to assist with the decision which, when it is made, must be unanimously supported by the board. This year, the ASVO board invited two of its members to become fellows.
Thanks, Brooke. I'd like to introduce our first fellow, Wendy Cameron. Wendy joined the ASVO in July 1988 and is an experienced winemaker and researcher. Her professional experience includes both small and large-scale winemaking, wine show judging and contributions to research and development and extension. In 2016, Wendy successfully completed the Master of Wine program and is currently a board member of the Australian Wine Research Institute. Wendy has authored articles in industry journals and presented at numerous workshops and seminars throughout her career. She has contributed to many wine industry committees and more broadly in education and other scientific and agricultural endeavours. In 2012, Wendy was awarded the inaugural ASVO Winemaker of the Year. Throughout her career, Wendy has maintained an intensive interest in active learning, mentoring and providing professional guidance to future generations of the wine industry. Wendy was an ASVO director from 2006 to 2008, a member of the planning committee for the 17th Australian Wine Industry Technical Conference, and presented at both the 14th and 17th Australian Wine Industry Technical Conference events. She was also the chair of the ASVO's Winemaker of the Year Selection Committee in 2018 and 2019. Wendy has presented ASVO seminars in 2012, Objective Measures of Grape Quality, and more recently in 2020, the Australian Wine Winning the Long Game. In 1998, Wendy joined Brown Brothers as a research winemaker and was quickly promoted to red winemaker. Within 5 years, Wendy was the head of winemaking. Her role continued to expand, becoming the general manager in 2001, and then the chief executive officer from 2011 to 2016, where she had the overall responsibility of Brown Brothers' 5 mainland vineyards and 3 Tasmanian vineyards, contract growers, wine production at Millawa and Tamar Ridge wineries, and provided technical support. Wendy departed Brown Brothers and pursued her passion for research. In 2019, she completed her PhD research thesis, investigating ripening patterns in Australian wine grape varieties. She continues to be a winemaking consultant to Brown Brothers. Wendy's contribution to the ASVO and the wine industry in general has had a significant impact on females entering the industry. Furthermore, she has been an industry leader in driving the need to improve our ability to measure, understand and manage the impact of smoke taint in wine. Wendy worked closely with the AWRI to provide industry perspective, sample material and highlighted the commercial need for enhancing the understanding of the compounds involved in smoke taint. At the heart of Wendy's skill is their ability to cut through to the essence of complex issues and connect with audiences ranging from novice wine consumers to industry professionals at technical seminars. Wendy is widely respected by her peers across all areas, and it gives me great pride to introduce Wendy as a Fellow of the ASVO.
I'd like to thank everyone for this incredible honour of being named a Fellow of the ASVO. This was completely unexpected, and when I look at the list of my fellows who have been my mentors and heroes in the industry, I feel completely humbled. The ASVO has been a big part of my career as a winemaker. I joined as soon as I qualified, and I never questioned the value of the membership. I was fortunate to be able to regularly attend the various seminars and conferences over many years and really valued the fantastic information that was provided, as well as the opportunity to get together with other people from the industry. I was also really pleased to have had the opportunity of being a board member, and from that further opportunities arose, such as helping to organise the various seminars, conferences, including the Australian Wine Industry Technical Conference. I think the ASVO is a real strength of the Australian wine industry because it provides these opportunities for us to come together and hear the latest research and share our ideas. For that reason, I would recommend that everyone becomes a member and gets involved, because the organisation is its members, and the more people, the more vibrant, diverse and relevant the organisation is. I have always just appreciated these opportunities and the education I've received from the ASVO, and I'd just like to thank you all once again for this honour now of being made a Fellow of the ASVO, and I will wear this badge of honour with a great deal of pride. Thank you.
Congratulations, Wendy. I'm very privileged to announce our second Fellow, Nick Bulleid. Nick joined the ASVO as a foundation member in June 1981. Nick has been a significant contributor to ASVO as a board director from 1996 to 1998, representing New South Wales, and as a general director from 1999 to 2001. Nick has also been involved in ASVO seminars, convening the 97 seminar on emerging white varieties and 2001 seminar on Who's Running This Show? Future Directions for the Australian Wine Show System. Nick has also presented at the 99 ASVO seminar on modern viticulture meeting market specifications, and at the 10th AWITC, and convened a workshop at the 12th AWITC. Nick continues to volunteer his time on ASVO advisory committees for the AWAC Scholarship and Awards for Excellence. Nick has made extensive contributions to industry best practice in wine show benchmarking. Following the 2001 seminar, he chaired the ASVO Wine Show Committee that developed the 2004 ASVO Wine Show Best Practice Recommendations. This continued through to 2015, where Nick co-authored an updated version of these recommendations. The ASVO Wine Show recommendations have been well adopted across the Australian wine shows, introducing more robust and uniform practices. Additionally, Nick has judged at numerous wine shows over the years and has passionately mentored many young wine industry professionals, openly sharing his knowledge of wine. Nick was the wine manager for Cellar Master Wines for 9 years, assisting the flow of information between wine and production and the sales and marketing departments. In 1992, Nick became the third Master of Wine in Australia and has been a visiting professor at Charles Sturt University for 13 years, teaching wine evaluation. Nick is widely regarded as an outstanding wine communicator, having written for national newspapers and magazines and been awarded the Charles Heidsick Award for Excellence in Wine Writing in 1985. More recently, Nick was the joint editor and author of the Australian winemaking textbook on practical winemaking, and he continues to write a regular column for the Wine Business magazine. Finally, Nick is a successful viticulturalist, winemaker and businessman. Since 1978, Nick has been a shareholder and director of Brokenwood Wines in the Hunter Valley and also manages his own vineyard in Hatherley in the Southern Tablelands. Nick is a highly regarded independent consultant, providing assistance with winemaking, blending, quality assessment, valuation and marketing in both Australia and New Zealand. Nick has been an incredible communicator and mentor to many in the Australian wine community, and it is a great privilege to induct Nick as a Fellow of the ASVO.
I have to say it, when I had our President Brooks phone call, I was simply astonished. I kept on thinking, what have I done? Anyway, here I am. When I look at the current fellows, Peter May, Brian Crozer, Peter Dry, Terry Lee, I mean, there's some extraordinary people. I just hope I can live up to them. Anyway, thank you to the Society and the Selection Committee. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations once again to Nick and Wendy, two very deserving contributors. Our last segment is a tribute to all who have been involved in the ASVO. We would like to thank those individuals back in 1980 who were a group of interested enologists and viticulturalists that had a vision of creating a professional society to advance technical knowledge within the grape and wine industry. Those early committee members had the drive and dedication to bring the ASVO into being. We thank them all, the many members and over 90 past and present directors and 18 presidents, volunteered their time and skills to administer and grow the ASVO to what it is today.
Congratulations to all the finalists and winners, and thank you to the sponsors and advisory committee members who all helped make this event a success. Thank you to the event planning committee who made this virtual event run so smoothly, and to Chris Waters, our stoic executive officer who does all the behind the scenes legwork to keep us directors in line and make sure the event runs as smoothly as possible. Finally, thanks to you for tuning in to our first virtual awards event, and to Paul for being such a fantastic co-host. And good night.
Good night.